And thank you everyone for being here with us today. This is our second book club study group following Jean Klein's book. And I made this up into 18 or 19 different chapters. And we have a set of, I think, about 8 co-hosts that are joining with us to go through this together. And I just love the variety of expression and understanding and clarity, demonstration of the understanding for the ideas that are being offered by Jean Klein. This week is Arthur Gay. And Arthur, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me, Bill.
You're welcome. You are an inspiration to me and to many others. And I'm happy to have you on this book club. And thank you everyone that's joined us online. I'm also extremely happy to have you as well. And for you all that are joining us on the replay, thank you for being here. And we'll have one more book study before I go on the Camino. I'll be walking for a couple of weeks and then we'll resume back in July. But and next week is going to be Hillary Austin. So Arthur, tell me what you think about this. Chapter 4 starts with there are basically 2 known approaches to truth.
Oh, I'm on chapter 3. No.
Oh, you're on, oh, that's right. You're on 3. This is 3 and 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
3 and 4. We are not the body. That's right.
Yeah, I love this. Klein does a lot of work using the body like Rupert uses the mind and thought. And my experience has been that letting go of the physical belief that this is me is been like the last step. It's easy for thought to rise up and dissolve and be witnessed, but it's I don't know how to explain it. Maybe taking more preparation to allow the body to understand what it is and how it's not us. And that's what Klein does. He shows us how to understand what the body is so we know that it's not who we are. And having a knee replacement 6 months ago has been a great practice for me. And understanding that I'm not the body. And the body's sensation of pain is something that we all experience. So I love his teaching. I think it gets deep. You have to stay with it. I love the real energy body, which is just outside our body. I do a lot of practice with just resting there, which winds up just resting in awareness. But I've done that using my knee as a kind of a prop, because it still has its aches and pains and yeah, it's hard to describe. But and he talks about, like Rupert used to, or still does, I shouldn't say used to, when you want to see what the body really is, he says, close your eyes, relax, take thought, put it off to the side, and just rest into the sensations of the body and see what you discover. And what we discover is that it's just energy, a sensation here and there that comes and goes. And Jean takes it further about the density of the body. And that is what helped me. If I relax into the body, I can find the dense spots. This is where we kind of get stuck as I am a body. And for ego to exist, it either needs thought or the physical body. So all we're doing is understanding what things are so we understand who we are.
Yeah. he describes this. We'll talk more about the body when we get into chapter 4, and I like what he points to in chapter 4 because he speaks about diets. He speaks about what we eat, eating healthy food, and really that mechanism that as a course student, or even in the beginning of the non-dual teaching, it's I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not this body. And in fact, he even says right here that we are not the body. So how is it that we, and he gives an understanding of how to experience the body from the state of awareness. And I like that very much. I like in this first paragraph on page 13, and James, yes, I did get your PDF. Thank you for sending it. I didn't like reading it that way. And I am so happy I found a copy of the book for $53. But thank you for sending that to me. I just didn't like that format. I want a book in my hand. These sensations are memories. He's talking about the body, this body sensations in the second half of this paragraph. He says these sensations are memories and habits to which we are accustomed. We're accustomed to these memories and habits. They are but a means by which I am the body idea reassures itself that it exists. That is to say, they are superimpositions on the primal natural state of the body. So when we say, I must first know what I am not, it means we must be totally aware of these superimpositions.
That's great. I love that, the statement, natural state of the body.
Yes.
The body is how awareness experiences experience. We experience experience through the senses.
Yes.
But it's thought that says, I see a tree, I see a chair, I see a human being. In experience, we just experience the sense of seeing. And he uses hearing a lot, where we hear a sound and we connect to it and say, that's a specific sound over there. When we just experience hearing, all sound becomes one sound. We're just experiencing hearing.
Yes. And what's the interesting part for me by what you just said is that it's only by resting in awareness that the mind is informed what things mean or the meaning of the experience. It's informed rather than using memory to determine what just happened.
Right. He's very specific a little later on about we don't go from the body out. We come from awareness. When he talks about that the energy body that's right outside the physical body. We don't go from the physical body to the energy body. We come from awareness. We're aware and we rest in that energy, which starts to free up the physical body, helps it realign with the truth. Part of that is like the diet he talks about.
Yeah.
To help allow the physical to realign.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be the tool it's supposed to be.
Yes. Yes. There was a question that said, you talk of feeling the primal state of the body. How can we get to know this primal feeling?
He talks about resting in that energy body. And he talks about using the physical body to understand or experience the energy body. So he talks about density in the physical body and empty spaces.
Yes.
And for me, he uses the palm of the hand.
Yeah.
if you close your eyes and relax and you feel the density in your body, for me, the palm of the hand never has any density. So it's a place to allow the energy to enter and go out, either way you want to be. And it's taken practice for me to be able to experience this energy that just rests up against us. It's just awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you were talking with Rupert, he'd be talking about just relaxing back into the heart of awareness. And Jean's just using the body as the same thing. Relax into awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But I always liked how Rupert talks about understanding and experiencing the body. What do you experience when you just close your eyes and relax? And you experience sensations. But for me, I experience dense spots and empty spots. It's not continuous. And if we put our attention on the emptiness, the empty sensation, it allows the denseness to spread out, be less. And this is the same thing with the energy body. It's hard to describe how to do it. My wife calls it, she will say to me, oh, you're in mellotation. She calls it mellotation instead of meditation, because just be sitting quiet and relaxing and resting in that energy.
So when you do this, are you doing it with your eyes closed or open? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I would say presently it's always eyes open. It may start with eyes closed. I tend to do it at night. I have a chair that overlooks the pond in the backyard and big windows, and I just shut the lights off and I just sit
Mm-hmm.
and relax into it.
It's not really identifying a location though, right? It's
No.
not really identifying a body location. It's identifying by the awareness of the experience, by the awareness of the sensation, it is known. Is that what you're describing?
Yes, it's completely has no object in it other than experience. And it's so hard to describe. But when you're resting there, it's like when we rest in awareness. We know awareness is present. We know we're resting in it. It's the same thing, but it's not a meditation where you start out maybe concentrating on the I thought and going inward. It's just a relaxing into.
Yeah.
And then if any activity starts up, it just starts up. But it's no attachment, no. It just does its thing and goes. It's like being the ultimate observer.
Yeah. Well, he says, as I said, sensations such as we know them are conditioned feelings which belong to the I am the body idea. It is in this superimposition that the person, the I, finds a hold, for the person needs to locate itself either in sensations or in ideas. And this goes along with Annika loves, she and I love this metaphor, this image that she draws up that shows a doorway.
Yes, that's
and
beautiful.
the eye is on one side of the doorway, and it goes through the imagined doorway to the am to become consciousness, to become actually the body. It has to have the am after the eye first,
Yes.
and then the body is after that.
Yes. Yes, I love that. I've seen her use that a couple times. That's a great picture. I was talking about something with James about it.
Yeah, I used it. I'm going to use it in my talk in Boston, I think, because it's so fitting for what I'm going to be talking about. It's a great metaphor and symbol of what consciousness does when the I attaches itself to the am, and then the body and the name, the personal self identity, follows that.
Yeah, it is. It's very descriptive.
Yeah.
On page 14, um, towards the bottom, he mentions this new body sensation. He's talking about the energy does not belong to the neuromuscular system. It is of much finer nature. It suffuses and radiates in the space around you. This energy of such a nature that is, it knows no hindrance. It permeates all that is an obstacle to the physical body. It is beneficial. It is love. And I always take this as, I'll give you an example. The home that I live in has become very peaceful. Where we bring peace, it starts to permeate where the space we use. And it's like that energy that's not the body just rolls out and rolls out, and it's love, and it starts to affect anyone in this space, especially if they spend a lot of time there, like our closest, like my wife and I. Their relationship in the house has just gone peaceful, and it
Yeah.
permeates everything.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I would say our home is that kind of peaceful also. And it just it feels it feels like love. It feels like peace. I don't know. I can't tell the difference really between what love or joy or peace, any of those words are. They all seem to be the same thing to me. It's just a different way of describing it. I like the idea. This is the first time that I've noticed that a teacher that I follow, Jean Klein, Rupert Spira, doesn't speak to this too much, but he talks about it's almost like the astral body. It's almost like the Barbara Brennan is well known as a teacher that teaches how to see the astral body, which is the outline of energy around what is known as the physical body. And John Klein here is describing something a little bit like that.
Yes.
And that also makes sense why or how Reiki healers use that energy. It's really just a transmission. They're connecting with that state of oneness, that state of awareness, of presence, and somehow they're allowing that transmission to occur. And I don't think they're actually know what they're doing with the body. Maybe they are putting thoughts are involved, but I don't think they're necessary.
No, I think they use the energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I like studying Klein, because for my experience, my last attachment to ego is the physical. Allowing to become the ultimate observer of the physical. So he does a lot of work there, but I've come to the point where I understand that it's the exact same teaching that Rupert does with the mind. Klein, instead of saying mind, is saying body. And we can all relate to a physical body. So it took a while to understand the practices, but it's like resting in awareness. As soon as you have a taste of it, it's there.
Well, this is
It is awareness, not like awareness.
yes, it is. And this is John Klein's, this is his practice. This is his answer to everyone, almost every question.
Yeah. Until
and it's Rupert's too, which makes perfect sense.
Yes. But he'll say later on, I don't know if it's in this chapter or chapter 4, where he talks about, must be chapter 4. He talks about mind, and it's the exact same thing. I can't find it at the moment.
Well, let's look at this where it says, I like what he says at the bottom of or at the second paragraph, the top of page 14, he says, and he's talking about at first he says the new body sensation will be fragile and you may be solicited by old patterns. So this is in the noticing aspect of your sensations, your old patterns, but the body has an organic memory. This is very interesting to me. A memory of its natural state of ease. He's talking about the natural state, the body without the memory, which once reawakened and sustained will sooner or later become permanent. The old sensations will become foreign to you. You may even find it difficult to recall them. Then you will realize that the body appears in you. This is what you were saying a minute ago.
Yes.
In awareness, and that you are not lost in the body.
Yes. Now, we could substitute, take out body and put in mind, and it's Rupert speaking.
I like the mind better just because I so easily identify when I look at this thing called Bill Free right here. I think with the body's eyes, it looks like me.
Yeah.
So I like being aware of the idea or the thought that is saying that.
Yes. My experience is it's easier to become the observer of the mind.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the physical body throws attention out there, like, oh, here comes a new ache or pain, or a new uncomfortable feeling. I think just feelings are stronger than a thought.
Yeah.
And we know that feelings are just a thought that we've held on to so long that they sink into the physical as a belief.
Well, and even the word body, even the word body gives us gives us an image of what we look at when we look in the mirror.
Right.
So for me, it brings attention to the object of experience, and then I put I in front of it.
Yes.
And then the I before the doorway of am becomes the am that.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's maybe early on when we get introduced to the teaching, it's easy to understand how maybe nature is not an object. But then somebody walks in the house that's our child and we say, that's my child. The body, we just attach around the physicalness the most, I believe.
Yeah. And that's why I feel that, it took us a long time. It doesn't take very long, really. When you think of it, when you think of a child that is a teenager and they're fairly conditioned to, they're completely localized as the person, as the body. And then they spend a lifetime being conditioned to that belief of its identity and hypnotized to the truth of what they are. And it takes a little while, as Jean Klein speaks here, for that once we become aware of our true self, it's the body still holds those residual references and memories of when especially the word pain, and it locates pain in a certain part of the body where it's a sensation. It locates it, and of course it'll start giving you a story behind it. Oh, this is a muscle right here, and it's hurting, and it's whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just think it's, when you have that sensation of a pain, we really attach to it in the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
It's just easier to allow thought to dissolve and be what it is, where all that compulsive thinking just dissolves away. And for my experience, the next step was the body.
Yeah. Well, Arthur, read on page 15 we'll wrap up this chapter, and it says at the top, it says, you say these energies are completely free. Why don't you read that section right there, and then tell me what you're getting out of what Jean Klein answers.
Okay. You say these energies are completely free, not bound to the physical structure of the body. Does this mean that with the energy body, we can undertake all sorts of movements impossible for the physical body? You want me to read on?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Yes.
And I like John Klein's answer. So yeah, go ahead and talk about the subtle body.
The subtle body we are speaking about is completely free from the physical structure of the body. Its energy is completely unconditioned. It belongs to the real body, the energetic body. The energy is capable of burning up all the conditioning buried deep in our nerves and muscles. It purifies the physical body of the conditions and sensations imposed by the I am the body idea by the person who needs to feel himself localized and secured. This person acts through likes and dislikes, through fear, actions which in turn react on the neuromuscular system, creating the vicious circle of conditioning. So the subtle body, you can substitute awareness.
Yes.
This is what helped me to have an understanding of this energy body, and to be able to, I want to say, feel it. It's like awareness, you know it's present. And as awareness burns up thoughts when we allow them just to relax, this energy body is doing the same thing with the physical.
Yeah.
It's a terminology that was tough for me in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I was localizing to the body. I was starting from the body and going outwards. If you start from the real body, the energy, it's like you're in observation right away. From this energy, we don't have the thought, I am the body. The body is just present within this energy, which is just awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I struggled a lot with Klein because I was coming from here, the body, and trying to go outwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have an easier time sticking with the I.
Yeah.
And Andrea mentioned something here. I totally see. This is exactly what we're talking about. Using the word body can keep us anchored in the idea of believing we are that entity.
Absolutely.
And it's that symbol that's a conditioned symbol, and it's the image of what I have made in a time and space identity as Bill, as the body named Bill, and that it puts all of my attention, and it gives my identification with the finite being, with the finite self.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
On page 16, I had something that I thought was interesting here. Halfway in this top paragraph, he says, the physical body moves within the expanded body, and the movements appear in a new way. It is important not to let the conditioned sensations take over again, but to knowingly sustain the feeling of emptiness. This is presence. This is awareness. This is the only way we can creatively proceed with the body. Otherwise, we reinforce the conditioning.
Right. It's be the observer. When we rest in this energy of real body, where it's like we're sitting back and being the observer.
Yeah.
And move with step one. We're just the observer. We observe experience. The body is just part of experience.
Yeah.
Like anything else is. It's
Yeah.
just we attach it is me to it.
This next paragraph at the bottom of 16, I'm going to come back to this personally, because this is one of the first times I've noticed, and if you go on a Rupert retreat, it's always vegetarian food. It's always clean, healthy food. And I wonder if this is why, because, one of his earlier teachers was Jean Klein. And Jean Klein says, if we give it the right conditions, the body eliminates these residues. With a well-adjusted diet of healthy food, our whole body begins to react differently. And this unquestionably entails changes on the mental and psychological planes. That makes a lot of sense to me, when, even though, when we identify, we say we have food rules and we can't eat this and we can't eat that, and when we do, we're right down the rabbit hole of making adjustments to things, because so that the body can be healthy. And that's coming from the point of view as a body. That's probably not the right approach, but coming from the place of being present in awareness and having and just looking at the foods that are being eaten that are really nourishing, uh, uh, the lightness, or the free, the freeness, or of experience. It seems like some foods can make you not feel so good. And if you eat too much sugar, or if you eat too much of this or eat too much of that, it's almost like it does cause the body to affect the mind.
Yeah. And you can do an experiment with that with a meal. If I eat a heavy meal, pasta, cheese, and then afterwards I relax into the body, that denseness of the midsection is prevalent.
Yeah.
But if I have a meal of a salad, and that's it, the density isn't there.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And it's a way to take an experiment to experience to see what the truth is. The physical body will get dense, but we make it dense.
Yeah.
What I was talking about earlier is at the end of this paragraph, where he says, by this I mean that the movements are enacted in awareness, point to the non-objective perspective, which is the subject of this talk. And then all mechanical exercise reinforces the conditioning, the old conditioning. Memory.
Yeah.
This tells me not to come from the inside and try to go out into this energy. It's to be aware and allow the energy, which is awareness, to be. And like awareness, I would tell you now that when I have a thought that attaches to an object and I'm getting stuck in the object, awareness recognizes it. The recognition is awareness presenting itself, and allows the tension of that thought to relax into awareness. And then after this is done, I'll say, oh, I had a thought that was sticking me to an object of experience. Awareness is doing the work on its own. It's the same here. When we allow this energy body that is outside of us to do the work, it starts to cleanse us.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's the old residues.
Yeah.
We all say, well, not all of us, but I have said, how come this has taken so long? It seems to be a slow process. I want it now. Where, from awareness's point of view, we are awareness, and we're just allowing those residues to work their way out. Physical residues, mental residues.
Yeah.
And when we sit back there, you can see how experience has changed. The chaos lessens,
Hey, Arthur, we have someone that has a hand up, and
Okay.
it says we can allow her to talk. So Leslie has her hand up, and we've never done this before. I think we'll just click on this and see what happens. Leslie, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to click on allow to talk, promote to panelist. So you might actually come into the room because you put your hand up. I'm going to click on promote to panelist. It says you will be joining the webinar as a panelist. Okay, Leslie, you're with us. Welcome. I don't see you, but what do you have to say? What do you have your hand up for? Are you there? I don't see Leslie yet, but maybe she'll come in a minute and we'll just keep going, see what happens. So we're moving to chapter 4 and we have about 20 minutes left.
Can I just do one last thing with chapter 3?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's on page 17. The middle section, the question is, if I let my body and mind follow the natural course without some discipline, will they not run away like wild horses?
Oh, yeah.
Letting the movements of your body and mind follow their natural course does not mean passively indulging and identifying with them. This only leads to servitude and misery. You must distinguish between passive letting go and active letting go. In active letting go, you remain totally present, clear-sighted, uninvolved, and actively alert. Gradually, the ego loses its grip until it is reabsorbed into pure awareness. And this active letting go is being aware. I thought that was important.
Yeah, that is important. And that is the antidote to the experience that's given, that you have taken the eye and given all of the attention to that experience. And this is the antidote.
Yeah.
So Leslie, I'm going to remove you from the board. And we tried to see what happens when the hand goes up. So now you can see, if you want to type your question on the board, maybe that would work. And before we go to 4, there's a few comments. We have many comments, actually. Perhaps memory is data that arises this is from me good, from the central processor of mind. And it can be addressed in that way as we do in electronics. Just a thought. Well, actually, the idea, anything that's an object of experience, which it would be any thoughts or objects of experience, you just allow, welcome, and be.
We always want to know that everything that's rising up is rising up within awareness, within us.
Yes.
So
and also anything that's rising up in what we think is our brother or another person.
Same thing.
That's just the same thing.
Yeah, no difference.
Yeah. So Leslie, you're back on the board here. I don't know why, but I'm going to click you out again and just ask you to just sit still in the audience. Thank you. Annika says, first know what you really are, being conscious of being aware. And as that, check if there is a body. Even when we go into the body in the conventional way and check from within, if you can find where the body ends and the space around it begins, you find beingness. Yeah. No limits, just aliveness.
That's beautiful.
Yes, well said. Thank you, Annika. That was absolutely perfect. And then Andrea said, Arthur, observing without judgment with complete allowance of all is peace. Yes. Thank you, Andrea. Maybe love, joy, peace are all just aspects of oneness. Yes, they sure are. And you know, I have a whole list of different attributes of of our oneness of what love is, and they come in all different sizes, just like we do.
Sure. When peace gets active, it shows up as joy, bubbles up as love, or happiness, or laughing. And then when it relaxes, it just relaxes back into peace. It's
Yes.
just an activity of peace.
Yes.
And it shows up as love and this and that.
Yeah. Someone says, oh, Me Good said, looking in the mirror is important. Mind is reflected in the mirror. Looking in the mirror is important. For me, I mean, I don't know. I just see an object that was 65 years old a couple days ago. I put a label and a history to it right away. And the older you get, you might start looking at going, oh, look, there's some wrinkles.
Look at a wrinkle. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Arthur, somebody thinks that we're twins, that we two peas in the pod, the same pod right here. Isn't
Except
that
I need
funny?
glasses.
Yes, right. Catherine, hello, Catherine. It's good to see you again. I found to be in the presence of Rupert, there was a felt experience that he came inside and was able to devour those blocks that allowed him to stand with you. I think a teacher can do that. I think gurus do it. I think Rupert can do it. I think any teacher, you can do it. When you walk into a room, when you reside in the awareness of experience, I feel that that is permeating consciousness within that all of that same space. I don't think Rupert has a mastery, although I guess he does. He does have a mastery in that, but he thankfully doesn't make himself to be a guru.
Shared consciousness.
Yeah. Andrea said, I have discovered that using non-physical words helps tremendously in connecting to the true self as awareness, which is formless. Yes. Non-physical words. I don't exactly know. What are non-physical words, Arthur?
I'm not sure.
Catherine says food can cause agitations. Yes, like drinking too much coffee and changes your thought process. And according to Jean Klein, it actually does affect it affects our, I don't know if it affects awareness. You're definitely still aware if you're if you drank too much coffee, you're aware of it. Your sensations change. You're aware of it. Just Arthur, as you spoke earlier, and you're not different from me, when I eat too much food, too much pasta, too much bread, too much heaviness, I feel dense. I don't feel as clear and as present when I eat certain foods.
Absolutely.
Let's look at 4 before we leave. We have 15 minutes left.
All right, great. It starts talking about a gradual approach and a direct approach. We know from the direct approach that we start in source and stay there. And when I seemingly, and I stress the word seemingly, think and feel myself away from source, the recognition of that is awareness presenting, that tension that goes from the subject to the object, that thought relaxes back into the heart of awareness and it dissolves. And in the very beginning, that practice was practiced. And now awareness just takes care of it itself. Happens all the time. Awareness presents itself in so many ways all day long. And just allowing it to present is to me the simplest approach. No work. I'm lazy, baby. You tell me I don't have to work too much, I'm in. and in the progressive paths, the work, a lot of work is done within mind, changing how you think, and all that. And I went through progressive paths into the direct path. I mean, they led me to this study, this teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but what happened was, it's okay to put them down. I mean, eventually we need nothing to be who we are. We need no teaching, no study, because I am it. And when I have that understanding, I don't need the teaching any longer because I just be. So it's not, if you put a teaching down, you're not turning your back on God, or it's just your being. Your being.
Yeah.
We know we are God. So
Yeah. The let me see what I think Andrea's answered the question. Everything is released via awareness, not the mind. Oh, Morris said, no. Rupert, this was Catherine. Food can cause agitation. Okay, she said that. Rupert talks about staying resting in awareness when we first awake before we drink coffee. I go right for the coffee. Actually, I don't. I follow a practice now that Jenny helped me with. And what she does in the morning, when she wakes up, she comes into a full presence of awareness and just is aware of being aware, allowing that to envelop and pervade all of her waking experience. And then I go downstairs and have a cup of coffee.
I do the same. I have the same experience. I wake up, and before I'm even moving in bed, there's presence. Now, then the body does its thing and goes and gets coffee, but the presence is present as soon as I awake. And I've come out of dreams even being present. They wake me up, and presence is right there. It's weird, but
yeah.
Just Jenny did a long thing on that back a while, and it was very good. Allow, as you awake, just allow yourself to be aware, be present.
Yeah. Yeah. Jenny did a whole description of that in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It's still there. If anyone is watching that wants to join the Facebook group, just find me on Facebook and ask to join the Bill Free's Pure Presence Book Club. And if you're part of this study group, I'll invite you in. Most of the people are. They just say I'm in the book club, and I let you in. And then you can see a list of. There's not a lot of posts in there, but the ones that are posted are pure content. It's really good stuff.
Sammy?
So what is that?
I'm talking to the dog.
Hey, what's the dog's name?
Sammy. He
Sammy.
wants to stop barking at somebody walking out there.
How do you guys like Arthur's accent? He's got this Boston accent all the way. This guy's got the Boston thing going on. And here's an answer from Andrea. Knowing consciousness are examples of non-physical words in their concepts. That's still a little bit looks a little bit cumbersome to me, Andrea. I like it.
The word knowing, consciousness are examples of non-physical words in their concepts.
Yeah. So it's really thoughts. Is it thoughts then? Because there's not really, because Annika says that every word is physical. I think that's true. As soon as you put a word down, you've labeled something. You've brought it into time and space.
Well, it's just a verbal thought.
Yeah, right. That's true. And even thoughts, it's thoughts are, I don't know that thoughts are definitely not physical, are they?
No, they become feelings if we allow them to.
Yeah.
And then the feelings will get buried and uses the physical as kind of a hiding place where it can fester and.
The thoughts can become an emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotion, feeling, I use is the same.
Annika says that names and words are learnt They are sounds we gave significance. Cool.
Yeah.
I like
Same
that.
thing we just said, yeah.
She says Rupert spoke of, oh, this is talking about diet now. Rupert spoke of diet not as a means to get home as a prerequisite, but as a natural expression. Once we know who we are, not necessarily, but the recognition shines in our activities, relationships, etc. Yeah. I like the idea that the more you allow awareness to pervade, and you just, it's just like the thing of waking up in the morning before coffee and relaxing into awareness. You have to want it. You have to, it has to be a desire before it gets activated as an experience, I think. And then it becomes a natural default. It becomes a, it's only replacing your conditioned experience with with your natural, it's your natural state that is, becomes known, not memorized
Yeah.
habitually.
Yes.
There's a question at the on page 19 of chapter 4. It says, if I am perfect and there is nothing to do, why am I here? Why why this existence on this planet? What do you think about that, Arthur?
Rupert would say, to be happy. And Jean says it's only to be knowingly in this perfection. You reside as in awareness because that's who you are.
Yes. Yes.
But the experience is awareness experiencing itself.
That's the beauty of this path for me. The beauty of the direct path is that it brings you to the everyday experience of being aware of the experience.
Yeah.
And and you don't suffer there. You absolutely do not suffer from the state of awareness. You can't suffer there.
No, because you have no expectation.
Right.
You just allow experience to be experienced.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
We have 5 minutes left. What do you want to share?
On page 20, the first full paragraph, Jean says, you have the capacity of awareness to be aware of those moments when you feel imperfection, a lack, boredom, discontent. When I say be aware, I don't mean simply name them and go away from them. Rather, give all your attention to the perception. That's so perfect. That's all we do here. When I feel bored, go in and explore the boredom. Who feels bored? All as I find when I go into the exploration is either a thought or a feeling. I find the feeling of boredom, but it's not attached to anything. It's just the feeling of boredom that I'm labeling.
But you don't mean, when you say explore it, you don't mean analyze it, right?
No, just go in and see what boredom is. What
You
is
mean
boredom?
see what it is, or do you mean just be aware of what it is?
Be aware, see if it wants to do anything, or when I say see what it is, what shows up is that it's nothing other than a thought or a feeling. It could be a feeling,
Yeah.
but that's all it is. It's not attached to a me. There's no me in there that's bored. So it's always an inward exploration
Yes.
that experience shows us what it is. And if I feel bored and I go in and explore it and I see it's just a thought, which aren't mine, it shows up as nothing.
They're just, so when you say they're not yours, they're just thoughts rising.
Right. I don't make them up.
Yeah.
There's no mind in my back pocket full of thoughts and I pull them out one at a time.
Hey, Arthur, I like this next sentence here. It says, in exploring the boredom or lack, you will find you are no longer lost in it. This is where we get to cake and eat it too, man.
Yeah. It's like when we say, I am depressed. Well, if I can witness my depression, it means it's an experience. It's not who I am. I am depressed. I'm a witness of depression.
Yes.
It puts space between I and depression. And
Yes.
that's like Rupert would call that step one. That space is where awareness starts to permeate and reveal itself.
Yes. Yes.
And once we've made that space on a consistent basis, we don't have to do anything.
Right. And then at that understanding, you're able to include the object of experience. It doesn't become special. There's still a space, but there's an included space.
Yes. It becomes where every object of experience is the same. There's no subject making it something different. It's just objective experience.
Yeah. The labels come off.
Yes, it's who we are.
History comes off.
It's an expression of who we are. That's all.
Yeah.
When Rupert's teaching, he is awareness rising up, taking shape and form as Rupert teaching. But it's just awareness presenting to awareness.
Yep. Yep. He says, one more sentence, because you will be taken more by the exploration than the object. You're no longer lost in it. You will find space within you and the explored. That's what you were just saying. You are no longer stuck in the boredom, the perception, and at a certain moment, it suddenly dissolves and you find yourself in present clarity. There is nothing, I like closing on those two words, present clarity, because for me, those two words describe the best of the best experience. There's nothing like living life in present clarity.
You know yourself.
You know yourself and you know everyone else. And when they don't know themselves, you can hold that space of present clarity in their behalf.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, thank you all for joining with us. We're at the end of our hour. Thank you all for being here. This has been a great, I love you, Arthur. You're such a fun co-host and twin brother, all of these things. Hey, I'd like to have a talk, just have a talk about your experiment sometime, that we can really discuss it and iron out and really talk about the value of it and how it really is an experience of awakening. It can be used for that.
The one from the presentation in the Friday group?
Yeah. I think in the right venue, that could be a really helpful talk and could, I'd just like to see where that goes.
Sure, anytime.
Well, thank you all for being with us. I love you. I bless you. And I'll see you next week. Our co-host is Hillary Austin. I love Hillary. She's a great co-host. I don't know where she is. She might be in the UK right now. But we'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining.